Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to another of our Sports Science Sports Series videos. I hope you all enjoyed Kate's video on Wednesday. So starting a new week, we are talking today about training recovery. So I'm going to talk about aspects of nutrition, stretching and foam rolling. This is all applicable to now and when we get back in the pool. So I hope everything in there is useful and that you can start practicing it now so that when you get back in the pool you're a pro and your coach will be so impressed with what you already know and can do. So let's have a look. So training, recovery, stretching, rolling and nutrition. So what happens to my body when I train? When I get out of the pool, how am I feeling? What's actually going on? So your body will be desperate to replenish the stores of energy that we use during the session. So these will be your carbohydrate, fats, proteins as your main ones. Your muscles will be damaged and need to be repaired and rebuilt even stronger. So when we do exercise, we have little tears in our muscles and our muscle becomes damaged, and that's why sometimes you might feel sore or achy after a workout. So that is what we need to rebuild. Your body will need to also replace electrolytes lost through sweat. You will be longing for increased oxygen and nutrient supply to the muscles, and your muscles will start to prepare to protect themselves and they might start to tighten. So I'm going to firstly talk about recovery nutrition. So I always like to think about the 3 R's. So you might have heard me say this before, but we've got refuel. So there's a 30-minute window for refueling. That's like the window of opportunity. So the faster you replace the fuel used by the body, the more effective your recovery can be. After 60 minutes without refueling, so if you've got out the pool, you've had a really long shower, taking ages to get changed, got in the car, and then you've got a half an hour drive home, and you've not had anything to eat, your ability of the muscle to rebuild will decline by 40%. So that's nearly half, which is quite a lot. So in the 30 minutes between getting out the pool, make sure you have a snack. So I'm going to go through in a minute the kind of snacks that are ideal for that 30-minute window, but some examples are there. Repair. So imagine your fatigued post-training muscle to be like a sponge. So if you put a sponge in water, obviously it will absorb it all. But a muscle will absorb whatever it is given. So you've got to eat smart when it comes to refueling. If you get out of a really hard training session and then on the way home you stop at McDonald's, your muscles are going to take in all of that fat and all of that nastiness as the fuel that it's replacing the good fuel with. And rehydrate. So water helps to transport nutrients, energy and oxygen around the body. These are all essential when your muscles are in their fatigued and damaged state. If you're not drinking enough, those nutrients that you're getting in from your food can't actually travel to where they need to go. So make sure you're rehydrating. So, refueling. So having a snack straight away, like we mentioned, after training within 30 minutes or in the window between pool and land training is a great opportunity. So, for example, 500 millilitres of milk and a banana, 500 millilitres of homemade smoothie and a flapjack, 500 millilitres of chocolate milk and a pot of yogurt. These are really good snacks because they are not only high in protein, but they have a really good balance and ratio of carbohydrate to protein. So chocolate milk actually has the perfect balance between carbs and protein. So a lot of people use chocolate milk as their recovery drink. Obviously, the lower artificial sugars in it, the better. But chocolate milk is a key recovery drink. So repair. Within 2 hours of finishing, consume a meal containing both carbs and protein. So for example, chicken and veg, stir fry with noodles, fish with rice and veg. We've got omelette with bread and salad, scrambled egg on wholemeal toast. So, for example, if you're getting out, a lot of people have spoken to me before about what to do if their child is getting out of the pool at 9 p.m. You can't really have a full-blown meal then. So things like omelette and scrambled egg on toast are really good post-training snacks that you can have in the car on the way home. Even if it's like an egg sandwich, doesn't have to be scrambled egg. Smoothies, things like that. But if you do have the time, or you can separate your meals and have half before, half after, that's great as well. And aim to sip fluids consistently in the hours after training. So don't just have one big gulp and then pour the rest down the drain and then forget about it. Make sure that hours after training you keep drinking that water. So, moving on to foam rolling. So a lot of you will have seen these before and or indeed have one. So just a bit about it. So our muscles are surrounded in a watery layer called fascia. Fascia has multiple layers and it helps to attach your muscles to tendons and bones which help you to move. When we train or exercise, this fascia can become tangled or stuck together, meaning that the fibres can't slide smoothly. These are known as trigger points that can be tight, tender or sore, or often they're referred to as knots. So someone might say, oh, I've got a really big knot in my shoulder. That's actually one of these trigger points. Applying pressure to the fascia and causing it to move through foam rolling can cause it to separate and relax and make it more flexible. This is known as self-myofascial release and can be done with a foam roller or one of these massage tennis ball things that you might have seen around. Foam rolling is a great recovery tool. It increases blood flow to the muscles, enhancing their ability to recover. So like we said before with the water, the more blood you've got flowing around your body, the more nutrients and oxygen can get to the muscles and the more they can rebuild and recover. So foam rolling is really great for that. Studies have shown that foam rolling after training and competition can also help to reduce muscle soreness and boost performance in future workouts. So if you're getting out of morning training, if you normally find you step on deck in the evening and you're feeling really achy and really heavy, a little bit of foam rolling can help to reduce that muscle soreness so that you can keep your performance high before your evening session so you can maintain. Protocol for recovery. So, upon a review of research, Science for Sport recommend that the following protocol to be followed when using the foam rolling technique. 3 to 5 sets of 20 to 30 second repetitions on the targeted muscle groups. And this can be built up over time. 3 to 5 times per week consistently to maximise effects from session to session. So, for example, after training in the mornings, after land training, when you get home from training on a Saturday, after competitions, those are the times you really need to be getting this foam rolling done. Okay, it's very easy actually to get 3 to 5 times per week in, and it will become such a habit that you don't even think about doing it. Don't use it as a replacement for other methods. Add it to your list. Okay, so don't skip other things out because you think foam rolling is going to change everything. Combine it with stretching. So studies shown that a combined approach has a greater impact on recovery. So don't ignore stretching for foam rolling just because it feels a little bit nicer. Try and combine them together. If you're not sure on this, then speak to Jordan. So benefits on recovery. Increases blood flow to the targeted muscles, like we said, which enhances the delivery of oxygen and nutrients. Increases range of motion in the joints, very important in swimming. Okay, so a lot of marginal gains come from those technique and those body position gains. This is where this will help. Reduces muscle soreness from training. Allows you to identify trigger points and tight spots for your attention. And it psychologically causes you to feel relaxed and recovered. So if someone said to you, oh, I'm feeling a little bit tense, a little bit tight, and they said, oh, how would you feel if you had a really nice massage? You probably go, oh yeah, that would make me feel really relaxed. A lot of top swimmers actually claim that a foam roller is just as good as the physio's hand, okay? So the same as having a massage, it's a self-massage technique. Application for warm-up routines. So not only can it be used for recovery, but it can also be used for warm-up. Taking foam rollers to competitions, as obviously you may have seen, has become normality. Many studies have found that foam rolling before training can increase your range of motion and be beneficial for athletes in training and competition. So think about the movements in swimming that require effective range of motion. Breaststroke kick, butterfly kick, streamline position. Allowing your body to more easily reach these functional range of motions will lead to an increase in performance. So the better you can get into streamline, the more outsweep you can get in your breaststroke kick, the more undulation you can get in your fly kick, the better you're going to be. If you get to training early, spend some time foam rolling so that in the session you don't spend too much time having to warm those muscles up. They're already warm, they're ready to go, but also you can get into those ranges of motion that you normally might struggle with. Add foam rolling into your pre-race timeline and use it between races and at home. So in your timeline, you've probably got a section that's for loosening off. This is a great thing to do in that section. Okay, not only does it keep your body warm, stops it from going hot and cold during the sessions and tightening your muscles up, but also it can make you feel really loose and ready to go. So stretching. There's been a lot of discussion between researchers and people who say that stretching can improve your flexibility through the increase of pain tolerance to a stretch sensation. So when you first go into a stretch that you've never tried before, you might think it feels quite painful or quite tight. That is a stretch reflex. So that is a signal that goes from our muscle to our brain saying, oh, this is tight, it mistakes it almost for pain. Okay, so what your body then does through stretching is it learns to tolerate that reflex. It learns to say, okay, I've done this lots of times now, it's actually not too bad. As Jordan says, the best way to improve flexibility is to work at applying force to a new range of motion or movement. So just stretching alone won't help to lengthen our muscles. We need to do strength-based movements so that we can actually lengthen out and get more flexible. The easiest way to do this is to increase the force applied to a muscle. And how do we do this? So we have to have an external load, such as a weight. Applying an external load in a certain way causes strengthening and lengthening. So something like an RDL, like the guy on the right is doing, and taking the load slowly into this range of motion can contribute to increasing muscle length. A lot of you will have spoken with this about this with Jordan, but if you're not sure, obviously he will be more than happy to go through it with you. PNF. PNF stretching is a technique that increases range of motion through the length of the muscle, increasing the length of the muscle, and increasing neuromuscular efficiency. It is the most effective method for improving flexibility. Stretching and contracting of the target muscle is what it involves. So a quick reminder for those who already know what it is. So the target muscle group is positioned so the muscle is stretched and under tension. Individual contracts target muscle for 5 to 6 seconds while the partner resists the movement. Contracted muscle is relaxed and put into a controlled stretch. 30 seconds recovery and repeat. So it's a great one to do with teammates on poolside after a session or in land training. So an example is the image in the bottom right. So the person has put their target muscle group under tension. The partner is resisting them pushing their leg down. Okay, and then after that they'll relax and put it into a controlled hamstring stretch. Static stretching. This is when a stretch is held in a certain position for a specific period of time. So it's the most common you'll see on poolside after a session. It sees an increase in muscle length due to an increased tolerance, like we spoke about before. Studies have found that the greatest increase is found when a position is held for 15 to 30 seconds at a time. So when you're on poolside, don't just hold your stretch for 5 seconds and switch to your other arm. Make sure you're holding it for at least 15 seconds to get the benefits. Some studies have found that static stretching closely before a performance could actually be detrimental to strength and power output. Now, this is more for the older guys, but static stretching close towards a race could actually be detrimental. Dynamic stretching, this is a very good one. So this is the movement through a range of motion repeatedly. So you've got your leg swings, inchworms, arm swings, seated T-spine rotation, things like that. Things that involve movement repeatedly through your range of motion. So it allows for an increased functional range. So what I mean by that is the ability to carry out the movement that you're going to do in your performance or your training session. It prepares the body for high intensity movements and rapidly increases muscle temperature. Great to use in the time period before races and in land warm-ups. 8 to 12 repetitions on each side of the body is perfect. So I'm just going to go through now a few case study examples of what the athlete might be struggling with and then how to fix this. So athlete 1. Good hamstring range of motion during the leg raise test, but is unable to straighten their leading leg on the block and cannot get into optimum push position. So they've got good hamstring range of motion because in their leg raise test it said so, but functionally on the block they cannot straighten their leg. So their start position is compromised, so they're not going to get as much out of their start as they probably could do. Athlete 2. Very strong and powerful off of the wall from a turn, but has poor sit and reach test results. This means that their turning technique is slowing them down. They are unable to reach their optimum range of motion to generate a powerful underwater kick. So they've got very strong, powerful legs, but they cannot get into the range of motion they need to. Both athletes are strong on land but need to foam roll and stretch so they can use their strength functionally and in the correct ranges of motion. So their target areas for both of them would be hamstrings, quadriceps, calves, glutes and lower back. So their lower body, especially glutes and lower back for the start, and hamstrings, really, really key ones. So if that sounds like you at any point, those are your target areas. And finally, athlete 3. This athlete has good range of motion and mobility in their upper body. They are very strong and attend all of their land training sessions. However, in the water, they slip their freestyle catch and their hand wobbles as it goes forward from its entry point. So athlete 3 is clearly strong, but lacks overhead stability. Okay, so they need to work on this through P&F exercises and squeezes as well as banded mobility work. So they're very strong over their head, but the stability in their shoulders is not as good as it could be. So that P&F work, although it also works on flexibility and range of motion, it was really good also for stability. Okay, you might have seen Jordan doing some shoulder exercise with people on poolside. That's the sort of stuff that is working on. Okay, so I hope that was useful for you, and I hope you managed to get some things out of that will be useful for you in the pool and at home for now. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you on Monday, and make sure you check out Kate's video as well on Wednesday. Thank you.